Hello, and welcome to our Success Stories webinar hosted by GoLean6Sigma.com. My name is Tracy O'Rourke, and I'm the Managing Partner and Executive Advisor at GoLean6Sigma.com. We are very excited to have this offering for our learners because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is when we talk about real projects that have been implemented within organizations, particularly government, and we want to share those stories with you. Today, we're highlighting a great project success story from Washington State's Department of Transportation, also known as WashDOT. And our presenter today is Anna Fisher, who is a financial consultant at WashDOT. How are you today, Anna?
I'm good. Hello, Tracy.
Great. I'm really looking forward to hearing about your presentation project today. Let me tell our listeners a little bit about you. So Anna is a financial consultant with the Accounting and Financial Services team at WashDOT. She's been there for 5 years. She holds a master's in accounting and a bachelor's degree in accounting with focus in business administration. For the last 5 years, she's worked for the state of Washington, and she's developed a passion for business process improvement projects years ago, but has recently become a certified Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And it sounds to me like you have a deep appreciation for how state agencies seek to improve the quality of services one process at a time.
That is correct. Thank you for such a great introduction. I've been focusing on developing skills as a business process improvement consultant since the beginning of the career with the state government. So I'm very excited that I have opportunity to share all the accomplishments that we were able to achieve here at WashDOT.
That's very exciting. Thank you so much. Let me tell our listeners a little bit about WashDOT. So Washington State Department of Transportation. Yes, it's transportation, so that's pretty straightforward. But they're a steward of multimodal transportation systems responsible for ensuring that people and goods move safely and efficiently. In addition to building, maintaining, and operating the state highway system, WashDOT is responsible for ferry system and works in partnership with others to maintain and improve local roads, airports, as well as supporting alternatives to driving like public transportation, bicycles, and pedestrian programs. So you guys do a lot. That's a great mission. And this is just to give you an idea of some of the things that WashDOT does. 18,600 lane miles of state highways. You maintain 3,300 bridge structures. You have 24.2 million passengers and 10 million vehicles a year on the ferry system. You have 31 public transportation systems, 220 million passengers a year. This is a really big infrastructure, isn't it?
That is correct. So WashDOT is one of the largest agencies in our state.
Wow, that's great. How many employees are at WashDOT?
6,800.
Wow. Okay. Wonderful. So, so this is exciting, and it's wonderful to hear that WashDOT is on a lean journey for process improvement. And let's hear about where the rubber meets the road at WashDOT. Let's hear about your Lean Six Sigma project, and I'm going to let you take it over from here, Anna.
Thank you so much, Tracy. I am very excited to walk you through this business process improvement project. It focuses on issues with the accounting ending balance and the reconciliation of this account, followed by the adjustment to this account. It was a very manual and time-consuming process. It was overdue to be automated and also overdue to be looked at some processing time improvements and error eliminations to ensure data integrity and also compliance. Everyone can contribute to improvement efforts, but my team included individuals with personal ambitions, passion for fixing problems, and all other qualities that helped us to be successful in this demanding role. There were many concerns regarding the current process that were introduced to me at the end of the last year. This is when I first learned that this project is suitable for lean improvement because it had the following criteria. The process targeted end-to-end process that impacts business objectives and outcomes. It was mired in complexity and needed some simplification. It was associated with issues and complaints, and it consumed more processing time and more resources than required and than we were able to provide to it. And the answer to why we do this process this way was that we've always done it that way. Lean is about engaging people to have them ask why we do things certain way or if things could have been done better. It doesn't automatically mean that it's a bad practice, but we should be willing to challenge things to figure out if we should reinvent that process or tweak it. Through our practice of Lean, we started looking at the process, the systems, and started to identify ways and opportunities for improvement.
Well, that's exciting. I know, I've heard that so many times. Well, we've always done it that way.
That's correct. That's what we hear frequently.
Yes.
Project managers in just about any industry are faced with the challenge of improving the efficiency and productivity of their businesses. To do this, they need to understand the best methodology and tools to study and analyze process correctly. We used the MEC steps that were true backbone to our process improvement. The steps made sense, they were easy to understand, and they were logically in their sequence. They allowed us to scope the problem, measure the current performance, analyze the root causes of problems and inefficiencies, and also test and verify improvement recommendation, and then implement the changes.
I love DMAIC.
I do as well. Essentially, the purpose of the define step was to set our project up for success. Essential project elements that we accomplished in these steps were attaining sponsorship for the project, establishing the project charter and appropriate scope, identifying stakeholders and team members, and also planning and conducting a successful kickoff meeting. And we used the SIPOC tool that helped us scope the problem and help to pinpoint what and where to measure.
That's great. I tell people to use a SIPOC to find out where to measure all the time. It's really helpful.
In the measure step, we set some objectives and use Gemba and understand the existing process. For those that have not heard of Gemba, it means go see. And in Six Sigma over here at WashDOT, we use this term to imply that we need to get up and go out to see the process to be able to see improvement that are not actually seen when we are not familiar with it.
That is one of my favorite tools in the toolkit is the Gemba walk. It's so eye-opening. I find that people really, really learn a lot. That's wonderful that you did that.
And in the end, we compiled the data into a flow chart of the current state, and we set the process baseline.
Mm-hmm. Good.
In analyze step, we analyzed the current state data and determined the root causes and opportunities to improve. Here we took the more in-depth look at the data collected in measure step. And we had to make sure that the root causes that we found really affect something that customer really cares about and something that is of value to them. Here we used flow analysis, value flow analysis. This analysis takes the process map that we created in measure and reviewed each step listed to determine if it's a value or not. This way we could see if the steps can be reduced or eliminated because they don't have any value in the process.
So Anna, is the pink steps the non-value add steps and the yellow steps value add?
That is correct.
Wow. Look at all those non-value add steps. Was that a hard Was that a hard application? Did people struggle with agreeing that there were so many value-add steps or non-value-add steps in the process?
I think we struggled the most with making sure we identify each steps when we were mapping the process. At the time when we were identifying value and non-value added steps, we already had an idea what is taking too much time and doesn't add any value to it.
Yes. Well, in looking at this slide, I mean, I think this is what is such a motivator when people really see this and go, look at all those non-value add steps, and people are agreeing in the process. I mean, that really shows how much opportunity there is in a process. So that's awesome. Great.
This phase was the most challenging, but also the most enjoyable. Previous phases provided us with the causes of the problems, but in this phase we were focusing on developing innovative solutions. We developed a pilot plan to validate selected solution and a plan to confirm performance results in time and in accuracy. We set improvement targets, 50% of the original measures for time and 100% for accuracy. After that, we were able to finalize the modified process flow.
So how long did the improve phase take? Roughly, how much time were you guys spending on the improve phase? Looks like you did a lot.
Yes, improvement phase took about 2 full-day workshops and several additional tasks that were divided between each of the team members.
Okay, great.
In the control phase, we developed and implemented controls to maintain the results. I noticed that this step is the most forgotten because we often think that we don't need controls. And in the end, this might cause that the gains we achieved might be lost quickly. So the team and we constantly evaluate the procedure manual. We closely monitor account balance and search for any glitches or areas that we could still look at for some improvements on top to the ones that we already done.
Yes, I agree. All of the glory's in improve, right? Everybody wants to kind of skip over control and just move to the next thing to fix. So I agree. It's one of those things that people, they kind of want to move to the next thing and they sort of forget about control, and then the problem returns, right?
That is correct.
All right, let's see what you guys did for results.
So this is the exciting news. With the use of Lean Six Sigma tools, we achieved excellent results. We went from 10 hours of current state processing time to 30 minutes. Out of 63 original steps, we only had 19 steps in the end.
Wow.
Yeah, this is very exciting to see. And out of 53 non-value added steps, we were able to eliminate several to put us down to 14 of non-value added steps.
That is really exciting. So you decrease the process time from 10 hours to 30 minutes. So people must have been ecstatic in this process.
Yes, it's incredible. And we constantly share our excitement each time we perform the process because we still can't believe that we were able to achieve so much. And I would like to take a few minutes to thank to everyone who helped and contributed to this success. I would like to thank each of the team members for their efforts, time dedication, and support I received from our Washdown Lean team.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that, because it does take a village, right? Greenbelt projects as well as process improvement. There's lots of people in processes, and it's always nice to know that there's a team of people that are participating and improving the process, not just one person, right?
That is correct. It was a team effort, teamwork, and I could not imagine achieving such a great result without everybody's help.
Yes. So thank you for sharing your project and your success story. Really, I just had a few questions for you. Maybe just a couple things that you could answer. Would that be okay?
That is perfectly fine with me. Thank you.
Sure. So, so what advice would you have for someone that's getting started with process improvement in government? Do you have anything that you would say just from your lessons learned in terms of advice?
Yes, I would like to share a few concepts that I found very valuable when I was working on this project. I think number one is to receive, to have a sponsorship for the project and have approval. Because without having sponsors and somebody who will speak for the process you make, changes will not be able to be implemented.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I would recommend following all the DMEX steps in order and not skipping any of them. I know often we get excited and we try to move into solutions too quickly, which I learned that can cause problems with identifying all the root causes. And last but not least, I would suggest contributing time to the workshops to make sure that we spend enough time on each of the steps and we don't try to rush through them too quickly, just because certain steps, certain analysis can be missed.
Yes, definitely. Those are all really good, I would think, suggestions and feedback. And I always say, you know, when people ask me advice on Greenbelt projects, I always talk about sponsorship, just like you've mentioned. It feels like you're swimming upstream if you don't have that sponsorship. So I totally agree. And it's really nice to hear that for you to promote that, to follow all those DMAIC steps, because people do skip them. They do want to skip them. You know, they say, well, we already know the problem. Why do we have to measure it? Right? And so it's really nice to hear. So how much activity is happening at WashDOT with process improvement these days? I mean, it sounds to me like this is a very successful improvement. You know, how many other people are doing process improvement? Is it really taking? Is it really gaining some traction now?
That is correct. So WashDOT is very active in developing lean processes. We have about 70 practitioners in our organization, which is incredible. I'm talking about 70 certified lean practitioners that are supporting business processes, providing advice and consulting other staff on how we can provide our customers with a better and more efficient work.
Wow. And what is the goal for this year? Is it really more about project results now versus training more people?
So we currently launched new Greenbelt certification program. I was lucky to be in the first group of Lean Green Six Sigma practitioners class offered here at WashDOT. But the program is growing and we are currently moving into the project-focused program that continues to grow.
Yes. So what do you think is maybe the biggest lesson learned or biggest mistake you see people making that are new to process improvement? Is there anything that you're seeing people are doing kind of consistently? I'll give you an example. So I worked with another agency, another government agency, and when they were trying to get some training for some of their people and trying to implement projects, what I was finding a lot was people were focusing on other people's processes but not their own. So they would say, well, my processes are fine, but the people before me, they really need to fix their process. Or that other function or section or department has to fix their processes, but my processes work great. So it took a little while for people to realize that those really weren't good projects trying to fix other people's processes, that they really needed to focus on something that they had some impact on, and that took a little while. So is there anything that you're finding happened in terms of a learning at WSDOT?
That is correct. So what I've noticed over here is that sometimes we are choosing the projects that are not really suitable for lean improvement. These are projects when we know the results ahead of taking on it. We already think about improvement before we go through the steps. Also, taking on too large projects instead of focusing on parts of it first. Usually, the processes don't seem to be too complicated until we are getting to the phase when we are analyzing root causes, when we analyzing each of the steps. Then we realize that project might be too big of a scope and would be more successful for us to do few of them at the smaller scale.
Yes, wonderful. That is a great insight. I would see that a lot too. People picking things that really aren't process improvement. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Anna. I really appreciate it. I think it's always nice to hear about success stories in government, really anywhere, but especially in government. And I really get a lot out of hearing. It's kind of like my gift, I feel like. You know, I've been teaching Lean and Six Sigma for 20 years, and my favorite part is listening to how people apply this stuff, these tools and these concepts, and then they actually make an impact. And so thank you for the gift today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I'll just say thank you for all of our listeners for tuning in to our Lean Six Sigma success story. We've got lots of other success stories that cover all different kinds of areas. We've got a lot of government success stories, but we're also going to be covering some other success stories in education and those kinds of different industries as well. And I just want to say thank you for joining us today. And if you have any questions about this presentation or applying Lean Six Sigma, you can give us a call or just give us an email at contact@goleansixsigma.com. Don't forget to download any of our free tools and templates and infographics and more. Our goal at goleansixsigma.com is to make it easy and accessible and make build problem-solving muscles everywhere. So hopefully you'll find some value in that, because we just want to make it as easy as we can for people. So thanks again, Anna, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for listening.
Okay, bye-bye.